when you're gone and those of us come together to reflect on your last 30 years, what will your story be? Will it be one of service, like Trinity was able to create in just 19 short years? Will it be one of passion? Will it be one of compassion? Will it be a story that inspires those that come after you, your own children, your students, your patients? What will your legacy be? Are you living every single day in alignment with what you want your legacy to be? These are the type of questions that I want you as family members to be asking yourselves every morning when you wake up and every night when your head hits that pillow. Are you doing your part to craft a better world? And I contend that there is no greater purpose in life than to leave a legacy that you can be proud of. And so that word, legacy, is really what we're all here today to celebrate. To pat ourselves on the back for being part of Our Care's legacy over the past 30 years, and more importantly, to focus on how we can continue to write the new chapters of this story. There is one thing that I want us all to keep in mind as we embark on the next 30 years. And those of you from Kentucky have had the good fortune or very bad fortune, depending upon your perspective, to have to listen to me say this. But it's one thing I want you to keep in mind. It's something that I think that if you keep in mind, it will continue to make you better individuals and ensure that we as an organization leave the type of legacy that we can be proud of. It's real simple. Are you ready? I want each of you to be very intentional to make an effort every single day to bring joy to those that you serve. Simple. Like our video said, you get the chance every morning, every single morning, to wake up and make a difference, and what a blessing it is to be able to do that. Not everyone has the opportunity to say that they can impact someone's life in the very direct way that you and I can. Remember this, when you roll out of bed on a random Monday morning, not wanting to get your day started, you remember that you have been placed in your field in this organization for a reason. Because you are drawn to it. That's the type of people that we are. You are drawn to make a difference. Remind yourself every morning when you wake up, whether you're in the front office or you're the treating physician on the back end, remember that to the person that you are serving at that time, at that moment, they may be facing the single most important problem in their lives. Maybe it's a young mother that does not understand why her infant won't stop screaming. And believe me, I've been there. Not the mother part, but the screaming infant part. She's terrified. That is when we shine the brightest. That's your moment, man. Own it. Maybe it's an elderly lady that doesn't understand why she's unexplainedly losing a bunch of weight. She's scared. And you get the chance to bring joy to her life in that moment. Seize that opportunity with everything that you have in you, with every fiber in your being. And that's how you build a legacy. The main purpose I'm here today is to introduce someone. And speaking of legacy, let me tell you about the legacy of a person that I'm proud to introduce to you this morning. Depending upon how you define legacy, I could tell you about all of this person's accomplishments, awards, accolades, recognitions, and fellowships. But I wasn't raised like that. I wasn't raised to define legacy by those things. I want to tell you how I formed my definition of legacy. And I came to it from watching this person live it. I learned about building a legacy by moments like the time riding in the back seat of my father's car on a secluded, dark county highway in 1987. That makes me 7 years old at that time. We were coming home from a high school football game that had been called in the third quarter due to very severe thunderstorms in the area. I'll never forget one of those evenings where the lightning is cracking all around you. As we drove home from Brinkley back to Augusta, the thunder was immediate and it was ferocious. You know, those type of thunders that just rumble right through you. It was one of those nights. And the next thing I remember is the screeching of brakes, a very loud collision, and gravel and rock peppering our windshield. I covered my eyes, really wondering if this is what it's like to be in a car accident. But no, we were safe. But the lone truck in front of us on this very dark highway that evening was not. It had left the 2-lane highway, crashed through an embankment, and gone down into the bar ditches that are so common on rural Arkansas, Kentucky highways. The tail end of the truck was still up on the embankment, but the front end was down in the bar ditch. I'll never forget Dad pulling over. My heart is just jumping out of my chest at this time. And I thought, what in the world is he going to do about this, you know? He climbed onto the side of that truck, the bed, and sort of shimmied, mental image there, shimmied down this truck, you know, like a fireman shimmies down a pole. Got down to the cab of the truck. One of the occupants of this vehicle was a young lady that looked to be in the latter stages of pregnancy. And in fact, she was. She was going into labor in this bar ditch. And after some time, Dad, along with a few other folks that had at this point arrived, carried this young mother out of the ditch and got her into the ambulance. I'm watching all this at age 7. Mother went on to have a little beautiful baby girl that evening. She was a little bit premature, but by the grace of God, everything worked out okay. A few years later, I was snooping around in Dad's desk drawer, as any mischievous 13-year-old is forbidden but always does. Right there in the front of his primary drawer on his desk was a picture of that little girl, her kindergarten picture, that was born on that night. One of his most proudest accomplishments as a physician was commemorated and embodied in this little picture of this little girl that just completed kindergarten. See, that's what legacies are made of. I learned about what legacies are by being a small child tucked into bed in Augusta, Arkansas, late at night, only to be awoken by frantic knocks on our front door. Open the door, there's a mother sobbing in desperation as she holds her newborn that is running such a high fever that it's slipping in and out of consciousness. By watching Dad throw on some clothes, grab the baby, rush to the clinic, and then follow the ambulance to the hospital so that he can be with the family. That's what legacies are made of. In conclusion, I hope that you see our care's legacy and that of Dr. Collier is one that is built out of a passion for service. And folks, it is real, and it is genuine, and it is as serious as you can possibly imagine. His dedication to this mission that we all hear so often, the least, the last, and the lost, health care for all, is what gets him out of bed every day and compels him to do his work, God's work. I have watched him remain steadfast in his calling to serve those that need him most, often in the face of great challenges and often requiring a great deal of sacrifice. But he perseveres nonetheless because he is committed to changing this world, to serving those that need him most, and to leaving a legacy that we can all be proud to be a part of. So, thank you, Dad, for being committed to changing people's lives and leaving a legacy for us to follow. And it is with that it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you my father, your CEO, Dr. Stephen Collier. Thank you very much.